It's good. I need this book.
You wanted to really stand
No,
up.
I need this book. I need it. It's good. We're good.
Oh,
Let's go. This is the 10 habits of truly effective Jews. This is the final class of the first course I'm giving. Obviously, it's all a bit experimental.
Is it a good angle?
It's perfect, and we need collaboration from people. So whoever's listening or watching, please feel free to email umusc613@gmail.com. I got it a few years ago.
When do you ever use it?
I don't really use it so much, you know. But anyway, let's focus. We're now at the 10th class, and the 10th class is a completion. This week's parsha we see the 10 commandments coming together, a certain number of 10. See the hands. Hashem made us with godly elements. 10. This is the idea of completion. Yeah. How many commandments are there? 10 and 5 on one side, 5 on the other. It's like our hands. So remind them we're part of this. It's part of our essence. You know that?
Yeah.
So we're lifting up these 6 habits that we studied already. We went through being proactive. Then we went to begin with them in mind. Second habit, we made a mission statement. We're working our own private mission statement. Maybe making our public mission statement. Edinburgh. Then we put first things first. That's a big thing. Prioritize.
You're doing this from 9 also until 10?
No, it's now. Now or never. After that, I'm chilling. Then think win-win. That's the 4th class. Yeah, we're just going over big time. We're going to finish off tonight. Then,
the last class?
pretty much, yeah, for this course. Then seek first to understand, then to be understood. That was the 5th habit. And 6 is synergize. Now I split it into 10 classes, these 6 habits. And 7th habit is what we're going to discuss tonight, and we're going to go off into the 8th, 9th, and 10th.
Oh, I kind of did this with you today, right?
No, you didn't. Sharpening, that was the deeper aspect. This is going to be more practical. That's why it's good that you were in that class earlier. Sharpening the saw. Sharpen the saw. Which is let's see what he says. Let's read what Stephen Covey, who's, thank God, has set out this system. You know, his soul's in the higher world somewhere. You know, that's true. No, and you know, he probably is getting a lot of merit for all the positive things he put in the world. Now listen to this. It's very important. Sharpening the saw is about constantly renewing ourselves in the 4 basic areas of life. Yeah, what are those 4 basic areas? Anyone has it a guess? Intelligent people. Family, he has social. Social, emotional. Yeah. Work, he doesn't have. He has physical.
So it's like spiritual.
Yeah. Mental and spiritual. You hear those 4 things, Sam?
Yeah.
Physical, social, mental, spiritual. It's the habit that increases our capacity to live all other habits of effectiveness. So in Kabbalah, the 7th aspect is the idea of Malchus. It includes everything before it. Like on the human body, it's the legs, the feet, which holds up the whole body, the whole supernal man. You have kindness, you have gevurah. You have kindness, chesed, gevurah, which is judgment, truth. You have, this is the thighs, netzer code, and then you have yesod. This is the idea of win-win, and we have seek to understand. Then we have yesod. This is the combination of holiness and man, and this is the idea of synergizing, bringing everything together. And then once it's all brought together and synergized, then we have to constantly renew it and constantly bring it to high levels of effectiveness. For an organization, for a business, this is what Stephen Covey says again, habit 7 promotes vision, renewal, continuous improvement, safeguards against burnout and entropy, and puts the organization on a new upward growth path. Yeah? So every organization needs to know this book, in my opinion. Yeah? At least read it. You know, you don't have to go study it, but at least read it. At least have it in the back of your mind. There's a process, a positive process. What's the next thing? For a family. You got a family, you love your family, listen to this. It increases effectiveness through regular personal and family activities, such as establishing traditions and nurture the spirit of family renewal. So for example, I have a mission statement for my family. I was busy with beginning with end in mind, and I've seen my daughter numerous times, Sam, quote those ideas and request to me that I live up to it. Yeah? That I live up to those.
How's your daughter?
My daughter's 11. And she's asking me again and again. She's like, Dad, she's like, Tati, you know, this is, you're now not listening to the mission statement. She only read it once, but thank God She read my mission statement for the family.
Oh, just the mission statement.
For the family, and she's caught me on numerous times.
Have a good night, Rabbi Friedman. Rav Marty.
Yeah.
What's it called? When's the bar mitzvah? And are we invited, and will there be drinks?
Bat mitzvah, well, anything to do with midnight rabbi is probably going to be a bit of drinks, but I know if the yeshiva like it, and we have to keep the rules of the yeshiva, but bat mitzvah is my territory, what can I do? So maybe when you guys come, we'll have to hide the bottles, and tell you where the hiding place is. But the point is that, this isn't a drug rehab, you're not on close down,
What?
Lockout. Ashreinu, you're not. I think you have maturity and respect.
When she turned 12?
Anyway, 12 is next year, so you have to come back the second year, Shana base.
And in the day, you're on lockdown?
Even in the Bay, they probably have those kind of guys they send to rehab. I've just reconnected to a guy who was in rehab from there, and he's done amazing. He's had a whole turnaround in his life. I did try and help him before rehab, but he obviously had to really clean up, and thank God he's been clean since then.
What, actual rehab?
Years. Yeah, proper real rehab in LA.
Not in the Bay?
No. Neve, a lot of guys end up, unfortunately, not a lot, a few guys have ended up every year into rehab. But they heal, they grow. In rehab, they learn the 12 steps. We talked about that first class. Remember that?
Yeah.
The 12
all
steps.
The kids are there any not crazy kids?
Yeah,
there?
Kids come out really good. Some of the kids wouldn't even know.
Kids go there that are normal? Or?
Yeah, they're somewhat normal. They made a film once. It was very funny, and basically the guys made it, and it was a more normal kid came, and you see him suddenly start to do all these things he never did. He meets the guy in the washing room and starts getting weed, and you see him slowly being corrupted into the vacant. So he goes from this yeshiva shakir, learning away of all these svarim in front of him, and the next minute he's sitting there in a hoodie rabbi, just give me space, he's it's really funny. Anyway, it was a joke. Bottom line, we've got to have a sense of humor also. So that's a big part of the seventh habit of renewal, sharpening the sword. So I tell you something, me personally, it's research. You have to constantly research. I think you guys are the type of guys who are going to do that. You're researching. Nowadays we have the Google Adore, you can look up all sorts of things, find it very quick. I'm making a joke, but it means the God Adore. Yeah, we have Rabbonim, we have Torah, we have endless access to information. I don't think our problem in this generation is information. We got, you can study anything on YouTube. If someone was telling me, if you want to go find out how to use the internet, go look it up online. It will teach you how to use it. Seriously, I have someone who's done that, has become a very rich person, has a beautiful mansion, and is employing half a community now under his auspices. He works online with the whole AdWorb and SEO
He learns
stuff.
how to work from online.
He's made a business, successful business. I don't want to say his name. He's become quite famous actually, so I'm not going to quote him.
What's he do?
He does online marketing, much more than that. All the new latest, whatever the latest stuff going down. I can tell you in private who he is, but I recommend this work. It's very good, and thank God I've even connected a few people. But the bottom line is that's the sharpening the sword. Yeah, that's the idea of through constantly learning, growing. This is a big key because he talks about organization and family, but there's also the individual level. The person has to constantly develop himself, especially young guys like yourself. So something we didn't say in Synergize, which is important to know: 1 + 1 in Synergize equals 3 or 4 or 5 or 6. Just by joining up with someone else, if you really become creative and attach yourself to the creative element of joining up with another person, you can really thrive on these individual strengths. You can really go way, way beyond. We didn't mention that, sorry, in Synergize. I'm just adding that in now. So one of the things I looked up in this book about stories, The Courage to Change, that really inspired me. And I think that I want you guys to contribute your inspirational stories that you feel have inspired you, was about the importance of emotional bank account. Yeah, and you see with children, there was a story. You guys, have you ever had heartbreak? You've ever been your heart broken by a girl? Yeah.
I did the heartbreaking usually.
Oh, okay. That's what I used to say until it happened to me. Now,
no, I've also been heartbroken.
So you can be really broken. It's a really powerful thing, the man-woman relationship. And if it's done in the right way, it's an amazing thing. You can build a beautiful home, beautiful reality. But if it's done in the wrong way, it can be devastating. And even before marriage, nowadays, which is very common, you can almost 99% probably the world's doing this, that you can end up with a lot of heartache, and it's a real thing. So in this story, without getting into the parts of it, the person came home so heartbroken, and what did the father do? The father hugged the child, gave him warmth, and said, "My son, I promise the sun will come up again. I love you." Meaning he's going to move past this painful moment. And that emotional connection, this is what he says, such profound emotional experiences last a lifetime, give powerful scripts to the next generation. My guess is that this person does the same thing with his children as his father did with him. There's a certain continuation. So in my personal experience, my father wasn't so emotionally, bonding like that. More later on in life. But he gave me stability, gave me a lot of positive things. But what I'd like to give to my kids is to be there for those special moments, emotionally, if I'm able to. So that's why one of the schedule organizer, the idea of first things first, you have to put time in your schedule for family time. That should be, otherwise how are you going to have those experiences? If you're never around, you're so career-minded, how are you going to be there for that key moment to make that all-important connection that your son's heart's been broken? Like, hopefully my children won't have any premarital situations like this, but my son came home today crying because a whole group of kids bullied him. Yeah. So that moment I wasn't there. My wife had to be there for him. Yeah.
There's bullying in Haredi schools.
Yeah, of course. There's a certain reason, huh? What are you talking about, brother?
I'm joking.
There's
a joke. But I have a question. When you said that they shouldn't have any premarital, I don't know what the last word you said was. Connections. Do you, obviously physical, there shouldn't be any premarital. But do you all Do you also,
social aspect?
Do you think there shouldn't be a shomer nagia, boyfriend girlfriend relationship before marriage? Do you believe only in shidduchim?
I hear your question. I can understand that whole path
personally.
Because I see there's some sort of functionality still going from that path, and it can lead to Jewish marriages, very positive. But thank God I've personally had access to a lot of spiritual texts, mystical texts, and seen the effects of holiness of man and holiness of woman and what it's all about. And I've seen the down spiral of society and how in this area it's become the most, unfortunately most abused. So aspects of society. So obviously I want to set the goal. Set it. It's like this idea in education. Set a very high level goal. Like you want to achieve something on a high level. Do you understand?
Yeah. So
based on that reality, I don't want to just give in to what's going on out there. And I think the alternative you're suggesting, which is to have a social scene, generally when a guy and girl and they've got those feelings, it's almost inevitable.
Right.
I'm married, I'll be honest. Thank God, Chas Hashem. And it's still a challenge. It doesn't end with marriage. It's a continuous struggle. And during these 6 weeks, which we were talking about, there's a certain aspect of fixing in this area.
Right.
So that was a big thing we talked about in all our classes we've had over these nine sessions over these 6 weeks. We're actually, truth is, we're in the 5th week now, and next week we're not going to be having classes as far as I know. Maybe Sunday night, I think there'll be one. Yeah? One class, but that will already be in the new cycle.
You'll meet my dad on Sunday.
Yeah, he's coming in. No, I'm very excited. So that's the big thing. I met one of the guys' mother. It was really nice to meet someone who who's produced this student that we can connect with and grow with, and to see the appreciation she has. So let's just read one more story, just to hear from Stephen Covey's inspirational stories, and he brings a whole important point about the circle of influence. Yeah, we talked about the importance of emotional bank account and synthesizing, joining up with other people and building trust. But there's also, you have to be very real with what is your circle of influence. Those things we can actually influence and control. I mean, you don't want to control people, but have a positive influence on. And those things that we have no control, the circle of concern. A lot of things in life, you can have a situation where you don't really have control, but you can start to try and influence certain things. Yeah, brother, we here?
Yeah.
Okay, so I have an influence right now, opportunity to influence you guys. You can influence me. We can positively influence each other. Or you can be on your iPhones and you can influence all those other people that are seemingly more important. Yeah? And maybe they are, and you can influence them. Or there's circle of concern, like you have this concern, but what's going to be with this thing and that thing, and you really have no control on it. You know, like a lot of people have anxiety these days. You know, people are suffering from anxiety. So what are we going to do? If we get rid of this circle of concern aspect and focus, if we stop worrying about things, and we start focusing on our circle of influence, imagine the amount of anxiety saved. You won't have to be anxious, yeah? Because you're being realistic. You're being honest with the true reality. You attach yourself to what you really can affect, what you can be involved with and positively develop. So now, for example, spending hours watching news every week. So I have to be in touch with what's going on. But can you actually influence that reality? Very little. Nowadays, there is an idea of having a voice, and that's why the 8th habit, according to Stephen Covey, what's the 8th habit, guys? 8th habit is developing a voice. I'm going to be getting that book tomorrow, and I have to read it before I can really go into it. So we're going to have to wait till the next course to really discuss the 8th habit, because right now I've just been a little, I've watched online a little bit of, I've heard from my friends. My friend said when he read the book of the 8th habit, the bottom line conclusion of Stephen Covey is to become someone who serves others, to offer service to other people. And that's such a Jewish concept. The idea of being a giver, that's the ultimate devekas to Hashem. That's the idea of becoming like Hashem, a godly person, by becoming a giver, by serving other people. The king of Israel, of David HaMelech, David the king, what was his sweet singer of Israel? What was his ability? Who served who? He served people. Oh, he served Hashem, David Abdecha. He was your servant. And thereby serving the Jewish people, because Hashem and the Jewish people, in his eyes, was all united. Right. That's what we get to the 9th and 10th habit, which I'd like to discuss, which Stephen Covey doesn't even mention, which I want to introduce, and that's where we have the truly effective Jews. Yeah, what's that about? The 9th and 10th, we spoke about today in our learning, was Anochi Hashem Elokecha. The 9th and 10th habit is connecting to these 2 commandments in this week's parsha. And Lo yeh lecha, that I am Hashem your God, and you should not have any other gods. So we're going to go backwards. The 9th habit is what? Don't have any other gods. What would you say other gods are? Guess, for our generation. Money? Power? What?
Money.
People, Tzaddikim say that. What would you say?
What?
Other gods. What do people worship in this generation? Distracts them from their purpose.
Money, like physical things, pretty much.
Okay, you know what I think even more? Like that famous comedian once said, distractions. They make God into a distraction, or distractions become their God. Yeah? You get that? Distractions. That's what we talk about in the time management side. You have the 3rd and 4th quadrant, yeah? There's the 3rd quadrant of things that aren't really important, and then there's the 4th one of time wasting.
Right.
And this generation, we've got a whole culture, media, which you could say there's a level of need for entertainment. He has that aspect of social, remember in the 7th habit, of being social and emotionally healthy. You have to have a certain amount of chill time, yeah? Very important. Ashreinu, we get plenty. Look, we got the schedule. Let's have a look again. I brought the schedule again. To remind us, yeah? The schedule. And we have the teal. The middle pillar of the whole schedule is chill. Teal. Party time, yeah? Go out for a holiday. Go and visit interesting places. We have the... I'm glad you guys are taking it. That inspires me, because I want you guys to look at it, not just me. Then you have, the lunch breaks. You have the dinner breaks. You have the, there's a lot of time to chill in this program. We got our vacation next week already. That's meant to be Rabbi Wayne tonight.
Oh really?
Or was it tonight or last?
No, last night.
Yeah. His shared series is called
Simchas Chaim, being happy. It's a very important thing in Jewish principles. I don't know what he's saying. I haven't been to his class.
He's bells, right?
Yeah. But I don't know what he's saying exactly, but I can imagine that the bottom line is...
But do you think what he's saying lies in accordance with what Bell's rabbis would say?
You have to talk to him about it. But the idea of Simchas Chaim, being happy in life, this is a very, profound and important part of what really Judaism always was. You imagine the shtetl life, the simple life of old. People were happy with little, people were happy with what they had. The certain Simech Behelko. They were happy if they were able to put bread on the table and have a Shabbat meal with candles, Shabbos meal, and they were able to, sing a little bit with their friends and have a few schnapps, It was a simple life and simple pleasures, you understand?
Yeah.
There's a certain, but now our generation's so complicated and everything's so advanced, seemingly. So we've got advanced problems as well, and the lack of appreciation. So Simchas Chaim is something that has to be a part of our schedule. But the key is to not get distracted by it. That quest for happiness, that quest for joy of life, that quest for happiness shouldn't distract us. Do you get it, bro?
Yeah.
It shouldn't become distractions. It shouldn't take away from your mission statement, from your schedule, from first things first. It shouldn't take away from beginning with our mind. It shouldn't take away from your ability to be proactive and your sphere of influence. Because if you can influence so many people, if you're wasting your time, then you're missing that boat. And all those people that could have gained from your beautiful smile, smile, are losing it. Yeah, they're losing that beautiful smile. There's some rabbis who train themselves to smile all the time. Shalom Arush, he didn't actually smile, and he got no one in his time of his life. Yeah, he's a big rabbi these days. He trained himself.
But he's the guy that wrote that book that you're talking about.
Yeah, you can look it up on Amuna channel or Shalom Arush,
Moroccan, right?
Moroccan, yeah. So he trained himself to smile. The first thing he talks about in his book, the famous book on Amuna, went big, millions of copies sold. He trained himself to smile. He got known before he became religious as someone who smiled. He trained himself. And the importance of smiling. And even the hottest girl came up to him on the campus and said, "You've got a beautiful smile, And he said to her, I want to tell you something, I'm on a journey. Like, he was in university, he was doing a big course, doing well. He said, I really want to go on a journey spiritually and develop myself. And he was going on about his, goals to become more spiritual. She just looked at him like he'd gone mad and wandered off. Yeah? Like, what are you talking about? Yeah? So anyway, bottom line, you have to have a beautiful smile. Yeah? It's a shame for her, but there's opportunities, you have certain moments to connect, to get rid of those distractions. And one of the things is, with the internet culture, to decide what are you going to look at when you go online? What's your time for? What are you looking up? Remember, researching is very positive. Surfing is not. Yeah, I don't mean surfing on the sea. That's great. Yeah, surfing on the waves is a very powerful experience. If you ever have time, it's a good exercise, good sport.
You used to do it in
I watched a lot of movies, unfortunately, and I used to watch other people do it. And I was back in the day, in my hippie days, and it looked beautiful. And I did try a few times, but I kept falling off the board. So you have to know what you're good at. But bottom line.
See me surfing, have a picture.
Yeah, great, I'd love to see. For our class, you have to work out what are those distractions. Even right now while we're trying to talk, just keep focused and keep on topic. It's a challenge every minute, but you also have to be interesting. Oh wow, that's a really cool pic.
Look at my hair there.
Yeah, wow. I want to see you on that. What do you call it? The wake.
This is a windsurfing.
Oh yeah.
I used to be good at that.
Windsurfing. Yeah, it looked like you had some rope there or something. Okay.
See my hair there?
Yeah. Long. So that's that second commandment from this week's parsha, and we said today we had a whole class, and I have to repeat it about what these two commandments are, how the foundation of the whole Torah is built off those two commandments. Then we have the first commandment. What's the first one? Anochi Hashem. I am Hashem. This is the whole base of the whole Torah, the Munah. But what you have to know in the word Anochi, you know what Anochi is? Anochi is the words I. And it says in Gemara Shabbos, in Talmud, in Shabbat, Shabbos, it says over there, in Sefta Shabbos, it says over there, beautiful idea. Anochi is Osius. Ani, Ani, Neshama, Neshmasi, Kasavis, Yahavis. I, my Neshama, I wrote it down and gave it. What does that mean? Hashem wrote down my neshama. He wrote down my neshama. This is what he said, and he gave it to us as a present. You hear that, guys?
He's upset.
Yeah.
Hashem gave you his neshama. It's in you. Anochi. He gave of his essence, his essence, his neshama. Hashem gave it to us. Kasavis Yahavis, and he gave it to us. And this is the biggest gift a person can give is their essence, their relationship, true relationship. True marriage is becoming one soul. Hashem gave it to us. When he gave us the Ten Commandments, he became one with us. Our bodies, our souls jumped out towards Hashem. We reached a certain experience on the soul level that's for all the generations. And this is why it's so important to know about this 10th habit, which is really the first commandment, because the 10 goes back down to the 1, the idea of bridging the highest levels to the lowest levels. This is a principle of Judaism that we always, it's circular, always bring everything round, Kesser Malchus, from the highest to the lowest. This is a very deep idea, but bottom line, that we want to influence all the way from the highest level down to the lowest. And that's really the idea of being proactive, being kind, being a giver really comes from the reality that you are one with godliness. You have a godly spark in you, and that godly spark means to be a giver, means to be good. God is good. This is a powerful thing to think about, and that's why if you have this concept in your mind as a fundamental of who you are, and you truly, once you removed all the distractions, lo yelecha, you shouldn't have any other gods, and you get to this inner aspect that's inside you, this godly spark, this neshama, and you get to know who you truly are, true awareness of the true Dan, true Daniel, and true Aaron Tzvi. Yeah, is that right? Aaron Pesach, sorry. You get to know truly who you are. Close. Yeah. Pesach's good. Mouth speaks. We talked about that once. But this idea of truly knowing who you are, and this is the key to then influence and lift up all the 9 habits below. Yeah? And that is the goal. Not just to be successful and effective in this world, but to bring out the truth, the true Jew of who you are, the truly effective Jew that you are. And that's why we're changing it a little bit. Hopefully the organization over there will be happy with this. But, this is just a Jewish way of looking at this very inspirational book. We're not trying to say we're better. We're just saying that we have a Jewish way of looking at it. We are Jews, and Jews accept that we are involved in the world, and we accept the wisdoms of the world. But we have to also know that we have a path that Shem in this week's parsha made us Havdom and Goyim. He made us separate from the Jews, from the world. He gave us a certain purpose, and that was to reveal that godly spark that is within everyone. Truthfully, in the whole world, everyone's made Tzelem Elokim, but we have it as a mission. This is our mission statement. Hashem took us out of Mitzrayim, and it gives us the opportunity to know what our mission is. The 10 Commandments is our mission statement, and on the deepest level, and this therefore elevates everything we're doing, because Hashem's wanting a relationship with us, and He wants us to become one with Him, and one with the Torah, and one with the Jewish people. He wants a certain unified experience, and that will, Memele, that will bring come out from that, will bring everyone in the world to that realization. So that's our job. And we're not trying to brainwash. We're not trying to this. We're just trying to get in touch with an inner truth that everyone knows deep down. It's not something you have to persuade someone. Because throughout history we've seen, Dan, tell me a story. You know any people in your family or anyone, when it came down to what do? They gave up their life for this inner aspect that they can't even explain. They don't even really vocalize so much.
For what?
During the Holocaust, you have relatives who ever, or inquisitions or anything. Yeah. So do you think they gave in or they left?
No.
They left. You know what they left? You know the Golden Medina of Spain, how wealthy they were? They gave it up. Everything for the belief. They could have just become a Marano or a Christian. Why did they say no? Why did they move on? They knew they had to protect their Jewishness. Nowadays the world, fine, there's a lot of anti-Semitism, but the world accepts our Jewishness, somewhat. We're allowed to be Jews. They just don't want us to be in Israel and fight with the Palestinians. Not everyone, but generally.
My history teacher sophomore year gave a very interesting explanation on the difference between anti-Judaism and anti-Semitism, which it happened in the 1800s, I think.
Okay.
Anti-Judaism was against the religion, where they gave you the choice to convert, in the Inquisition, or to accept another religion, and then there became a point in Europe, and you could see when it happened in history, when the pogroms started really,
pogroms were going on for a long time.
Where it turned into anti-Semitism, which was in the Holocaust, you couldn't accept Christianity. It didn't matter if you weren't even Jewish and you had one Jewish grandparent. If you had Jewish blood, you're seen as inferior, and it was no longer a thing against the religion anymore. It was a thing against the race of Jewish people.
Hey, but you know what? All these things, experiences are pushing. They're pushing for a Jew. So they're talking now to the Jewish people right now. The Jew has to realize that he's Jewish, and that's all that experience is there to wake us up. Because what was happening during that time you're talking about in the 1800s? What were Jews doing? Assimilating en masse. The Reform movement was very strong. The Haskalah, the Enlightenment, and the goal was to assimilate us.
Right.
And that assimilation created a backlash, which caused the Jews they have to be woken up that we're Jewish. We cannot escape it. Like you're saying, even Hitler and his people, wouldn't let us forget that we're Jewish, no matter how far off we're Jewish.
Right.
And that is a certain realization that we must forget this godly spark within. We want it to come through positivity. We want the world to have positive education and positive experience. It shouldn't come from all this negativity.